Welcome to the Feminist Wellbeing Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Dodier, non-diet nutritionist, cognitive behavior coach, and I've earned myself a PhD in diet culture. And at the age of 40, after graduating from 25-year dieting career, I said no more. And this podcast and myself are on a mission to help you reshape your mind, not the size of your pants, for your best well-being. This podcast episode is a coffee chat with 6 women. I've done interviews before. I've done what I call threesome, which is 3 of us talking. But this, I think it's the first time we're 6 on this podcast talking. So it's going to be fun. I know my podcast team's going to have editing to do with the blank space between people, but it's going to be fun. The 5 guests that I have on this podcast today are active students of the non-diet coaching certification, my signature program inside of Beyond the Food, where I train health professional coaches in the non-diet approach, the weight neutral health approach, and specifically using the cognitive behavioral coaching framework to help people change their health behavior. And I've asked them to come on to the podcast to share their experience of the certification, because I believe this is the best way to help people make a quality decision in joining our program. I let people tell you their experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how it has impacted their life, their business, and their profession. So on the podcast today, I'm going to give you their first name, and you will have inside of the show note how to reach them based on the information that they are willing to share. So with that in mind, on the podcast today, you will hear Mia, you will hear Chrisanne, you will hear Limor, you will hear Farah, and you will hear Angela, which I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're powerful, amazing women that are studying with me. And in case you want to know about the non-diet coaching certification, we'll put the link in the show note, but enough to say that this is a 5-month program. It's very intense, and I'm holding you by your hands in learning how to coach, how to deploy the weight neutral health approach, intuitive eating, and body neutrality. This is where you can spend the most face-to-face time with me. We're on Zoom together anywhere from 3 hours to 4 hours a week. And then we have a private Facebook group where I coach almost every day on different topic to them. It's structured and set up for maximum growth and embodiment, and you'll hear them talk about that. So if you have any question about the program, you are always welcome to email us at info@stephaniedodier.com. We'll link to the page. You can have detail and even book a consultation there. We are enrolling currently, or we will be enrolling currently for cohort 11. 5 years doing this. I still can't believe we're enrolling cohort 11 in the month of January. So I'm looking at a calendar right now. The date will be January the 13th to the 17th, 2025. That's when we'll open to the public for anyone who wants to register. If you've been on our wait lists, you will have a exclusive chance to register. And as we are publishing this episode on November the 26th, we're currently enrolling people who are on the wait list. So if you're listening to this, you're like, oh my God, this is what I want to do, what I want to train in. Know that you still have 3 days to join the wait list and be receiving the link to apply early, so you can take advantage of various bonus that we offer to our wait list and our early enrollment. And if you're listening to this any other time, the regular enrollment will be January the 13th to the 17th, 2025. If you have any question, I'll be there to answer them. If not, I'll get my team to patch in our beautiful roundtable conversation about their insights in their journey of becoming a non-diet certified coach. Enjoy. Welcome everyone to the It's Beyond the Food podcast. I'm so happy to have all of you here. This is like a threesome by two. Like we're 6 people around the table right now wanting to have a conversation. So I'm going to quickly go around the table and allow for everyone to introduce themselves, and then we're going to start talking. So I'm going to start with a left corner on my screen, which is Mia, and then you each take your turn.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mia Smith. I am an educator by trade, and I am in Stephanie's non-diet body image coaching certification training. So I'm happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. I am Chrisanne. I am a Zumba instructor, a Tai Chi instructor. I have a certification as a health coach from the Institute of Integrated Nutrition, and I'm a mom.
Hi, everyone. My name is Limor Elman. My business is Family Food Freedom. I am a certified intuitive eating counselor and body image coach. I coach women who want to stop the intergenerational pattern of handing down food and body image issues to their children.
I'm Farah Fernandez. I am a certified functional nutrition counselor, a health coach as well, and I am a mom of 4, and I'm really excited to be here and talk about the mentorship.
And I'm Angela Humberg. I'm a registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor and professor of nutrition.
Amazing. So we are here with one center point for everyone to know is the non-diet coaching certification. And we had decided to record a podcast to share our experience or their experience in working with me over the last now almost 4 months. So I'm going to get us started on this question. What made you wanting to join the non-diet coaching certification, and what thus far have been your biggest win, learning, or growth?
I wanted to join because I was coming from a background of functional nutrition, and I was really trying to get into my health coaching business from more of like a hobby or a side business. And I was trying to make that grow. And I stumbled across intuitive eating that I thought was interesting, but I had no idea it was going to completely change my life and also change the direction of my career. And in that process, I bumped into Stephanie. I just like instantly felt like with my whole everything that I am, my body, my spirit, my mind, this was what I needed to actually do this as my, my life and my profession. And I was right. I mean, I'm so glad I followed that instinct, that prompting here 4 months later. I can't honestly say I remember you saying, Stephanie, like the first day that we met, you will not be the same person that you are today after this program. And for sure, just not even completing the program yet, I am a different person than I was when I started.
I came to the program, and when I had initially heard about Stephanie, I was a little intimidated. And I actually had an opportunity previously to join, and I decided that it wasn't for me. So I got my training as a health coach from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And about a year later, when I decided, okay, this is what I wanted to do, I actually got hired by a weight loss company to be an online coach. So I did that for just shy of a year, and it just it wasn't for me. And I didn't know why. All I knew was weight loss wasn't for me. I couldn't figure out how to help people lose weight. And I wasn't enjoying the role. Like Farah, I also got introduced to intuitive eating through another program, and it just felt right. It felt good. And I wanted to take it to the next level, just didn't know how. Then I was reintroduced to Stephanie informally through her podcast and other things online. And I decided, I didn't want to do diets, but I didn't know how to not do the diet. So I decided to jump in, and it has changed me. And it's only been 4 months, and I can definitely see changes both professionally and personally.
Yeah. Thank you.
I had worked with many different therapists for many, many years and could never solve the food and body stuff, no matter how good they were and how much money I spent on them and how PhD'd they were. And it's because they did not have the coaching experience. And they also didn't approach therapy from a feminist lens. And so when I heard, Stephanie, when I heard your approach, that we can't discount our conditioning as women, that just nailed it for me. And that has been a profound learning experience for me and is also shaping the way I coach now.
Social conditioning cannot be separated from the food and body image, eh?
For me, I came in contact with Stephanie because when I was writing my book about my 35 plus year battle with eating disorder, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, the whole bit, I had come across this term I knew somewhere, this term diet brain. And I was looking for it because I wanted to reference it in my book because it was what I was experiencing as I was trying to break free from dieting. And I found out that was my first experience, researching and finding that Stephanie had actually coined that term, diet brain. And so once I found that she had coined the term, that was actually, something that really connected and resonated in my head and heart. I started to find a podcast, and I got on Stephanie's mailing lists and started to read the literature that she was putting out. For me, it was really a no-brainer next step for me because I knew, as an educator and also just as somebody with a heart to help others, I knew that I really wanted to really delve into how to help someone that is in my situation or that may be going down that road. And so getting into this certification to be able to get this information to understand how to help the next person was a right next step for me.
Yeah, and I just want to add, for anybody who's written a book before, it's how to bring your book to life, how to actually coach people based on your writing. How about you, Angela?
I am a dietitian and a professor, and intuitive eating is my jam. But I did not the coaching tools. And Stephanie had the coaching tools that she mentions a lot of times intersectionality and how things are so connected. And it was like shining a bright light on just so many oh my gosh, that's what I was missing. Oh, and just being able to, and she also mentions things like we can intellectualize things but not embody things, and I'm like, oh, that's it too. And it's just been a lightning bolts because it's started connecting things and making this make sense, and I can make such a difference here. And so I feel like I'm embodying the intuitive eating more than in intellectualizing it. So I really appreciate that.
And I just want to add to this, given your particular background, you mentioned intellectualization. I think it's needed. I think the research, the intellectualization is needed, but that's one space. And then there's the space of actually helping people. The intellectualization and the science is not how we actually help people. I think that's the bridge you're describing. Am I correct, Angela?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
We need the research to move things forward and to do the political and the activism and change policy. But I think what I found the biggest mistake and why people wanted me to help them integrate that in their practice is because that is not the motivator to change behavior.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like you had the key. You had the magic key. And I was like, oh, look what's inside. It was like, yay, I found it.
And some of you, I want to ask this question. It's not going to be applicable to all of you, but those around the table who have certified intuitive eating counselor, one of the biggest questions I get all the time is, if I'm a certified intuitive eating counselor, then the certification is not for me or I don't need it. And I would love to hear those who do have that program, what did you find the difference? Or how is the non-diet coaching certification helps you even if you have your certified intuitive eating counselor?
I just finished my intuitive eating certification before I started with you, Stephanie, in this program. And first of all, we don't talk really about coaching in the certification. There's no process for coaching. The certification is really education so that you can teach the principles to your clients, which is really valuable. The piece that I also felt is missing is the emotional regulation and somatics piece. It's, you can teach someone the principles, but if you're not addressing, like you've been talking about their emotional response, then you're really going to get stuck and not get to change, not get to transformation.
So for me, I see it as what you're describing as we fill the gaps, as opposed to like, we don't really do science in my world. Like we don't focus on science. We focus more on how to the application with people of a human being versus the science of things. Okay, I got a cool question. And this was good. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. What was your expectation of the program, of the non-diet coaching certification, versus what you are experiencing thus far? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's have fun with this one. Anybody's like got something right away that their nervous system is saying, oh yeah, I want to talk about this.
I'm not even sure if I had a clear expectation. I think coming into the program, because I've been in other environments of coaching before, and also with the certification that I had, I guess for me, I was like, okay, it's another program. Like, I know generally how the people are going to be. I knew that it was going to may not necessarily have been many people of color. And in a way, I was intimidated, but I knew that I needed to do something in order to get my business moving. And I was like, okay, this is a different than what I have been accustomed to. So I thought it was at least worth giving it a shot. So I came in with that lens, like, okay, yeah, there's other people in the program and we're all going to talk about our stories. But what I'm finding is like, I have so much in common with everyone here. And as Angela mentioned, the way that you bring up all of the intersectionalities and how, and even Limor mentioned it with the social piece and dealing with emotional intelligence, you don't find that anywhere else. And I think that is what helps not only connect us to what you're teaching and how to help, our future clients, but for me, it's connecting me to all these amazing women that I probably would never have interacted with just because on the surface, it's like, oh, we don't have anything in common. Like, like that has been the biggest gas moment for me.
I think similar to what you said just now, Chrisanne, I didn't know really what to have an expectation for, except, I was looking at like, oh, I'll be certified, body image coach and certified this or that. I had this sense that might have to get into some stuff that I haven't, gotten into too deeply. Certainly not with other people, like my body image, my, past struggles with food, my history. And I remember that feeling a little bit like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that, but I'm just gonna do this. like how I had done all my things, I'll just do it. I just, whatever. What I have experienced was the creation of, first of all, safety in our cohort and with you, Stephanie. And then also what's really cool to me is learning how to create safety for myself, because like you've always said, it's like coaching most of the coaching that's happening for me is self-coaching daily. We meet, once or twice a week, but the real work is what I'm doing daily. And so that's a piece that I wouldn't even known to expect before coming to this program. But I think that's the part that has been the biggest blessing benefit to me to transformation. And just that feeling of safety that I actually feel now in my life, like daily, that I didn't realize I didn't have before. If that makes sense.
That's beautiful.
I completely agree with that. I think that I was expecting to receive a lot of information, and it has been 10 times the value, I think, in terms of information. It's a whole world opened up for me in terms of information. And I think that was what I expected to learn information about the non-diet approach. However, what I didn't expect was the requirement that it all has to be embodied by me. that everything that from the very first first coaching sessions, you were saying you cannot take your client anywhere that you cannot go, and that you are not willing to go yourself. So it's like, you have to dive into this water first before you can take your client. And so that has been, that was the part that I did not expect, but it has also been unexpectedly wonderful.
I would agree. It has been very uncomfortable. And
Yeah, I also have felt like the work is rigorous and
but that's where the growth is. And that's
And I like to
definitely made a
say
difference.
that that's what will make it for the rest of your life, right? I was just coaching someone else unrelated to here about intellectualization versus embodiment. When you embody shit, like beyond reading the book and looking at the study, when you embody the shit, that's when you can speak about it off the cuff and it's going to stay in your mind for the rest of your life versus having to memorize something.
I think a good analogy for your program, Stephanie, is, we hear the term when the rubber meets the road. Like, you are when the rubber meets the road.
That's a good one. Anyone else
Yeah.
before we move on to the next question?
I mean, I have always been a reflective person and an analytical person and all of that, but I never did this. I never learned how to coach myself. Like I was very good at just spewing sort of my state and again, like intellectualizing even my emotions. And now I'm actually working on regulating them, which is like far superior to any of that, but it takes so much work and it's rigorous. It's demanding.
My next question would be, so we talked about what you expected where you are. What I'm curious about, and I'm sure people are curious about, if you could think of one situation, either personally or professionally, that you are experiencing differently, like either you're coaching your client differently or you're coaching yourself. Like, is there a real life example of how coaching, emotional regulation that you've learned and you're embodying has made a significant impact for you?
So the self-coaching has helped me to set respectful boundaries with her when she says certain things that would have typically triggered me, and then there'd be a big argument. And it could be about anything. It could be about my daughter. It could be about why I'm wearing something or whatever. But I know one specific example. A few weeks back, I was telling her about a challenging situation that I was having with someone, and her response to me was, "Well, you allowed it." And I'm just like, that is beyond the point. Like I said to her, "You're not hearing what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying is X, Y, and Z, and you're going completely off, off the cuff." And like that kind of ended the conversation. And I was at peace. Like I wasn't angry. I wasn't, I didn't hold it and hold a grudge for days. Like I was fine. And then the next day I was able to see her and be like, "Hey mom, you need help with this," So for me, it's been able to set respectful boundaries to protect my peace and to continue to experience safety just for myself.
I would be able to say every area of my life has
Let's pick
changed.
one.
Yeah, let's pick one. I have 4 kids, 3 of which are teenagers, and I'm a single mom. And so, head of my household and so on and so forth, the sole provider. And sometimes in the past there, as you can imagine, there are issues that come up and decisions that I have to make, things to talk to them about that are hard conversations. And I think a lot of times in the past, I had a lot of maybe self-doubt in how I approached her and questioning myself, like, did I do that right? Am I parenting them right? Am I messing them up for life? So on and so forth. And I've just recently noticed, and I don't know that I was aware of it changing as it was changing, but I feel more confidence in my parenting with them. And I see how that affects them and how more just secure I see them in their lives, and how no matter what happens, because a lot in just the 4 months that I've been in this program has gone on with my kids, fairly challenging situations. And I no longer have that self-doubt, like, am I doing things the right way? And because I know a huge part of what I've learned is to be self-compassionate, have my own back. And so I'm like, I don't fear like messing up anymore with them. I'm like, I can do this no matter what happens. I have my own back. I can create safety for myself. And so I feel like that creates safety for my kids. So it's been really great that way.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we have this, one of the components we have in the program is where we start coaching, right? Before the end of the certification. It's interesting because what you sharing now is exactly what you were reporting when we were talking about your client. You're learning now to create safety, not messing up with your client, that everything's going to be okay. That's not all right. Can you see the parallel?
Yes, definitely. And I shied away from talking about clients, I guess, and went to, an area that I feel more familiar with. But I would definitely say that I had the same sort of thoughts and fears, I guess, and self-doubt in working with my clients that I was just describing with my kids. And it's still kind of like a journey with my clients, but it's definitely like in going in that same direction and having self-compassion for myself and so on. So yeah, it's definitely parallel.
I have a client who I started with before the certification program began, and I always got the feeling that she wasn't sharing everything, and I felt like I just was moving her along again, like through the intuitive eating steps. And until I realized that the somatic work, the self-compassion work, this self-regulation, self-authorization work was so important. And until I started working on that stuff with her, did I start to see changes. And of course, I was working on it myself at the same time, imperfectly. She just left me a message that like she is just feeling so much better about her body and pictures of herself. And there's been a transformation the way it has been for me as well.
It's interesting. I'll give you an analogy, and I'm sure you resonate. When you open your statement, you said, I was moving her along.
Yeah.
Where now you're saying she's moving herself along. Can you see that?
Oh, yes. That was exactly it. And it's the self-coaching. It's the self-coaching model. The intentional thoughts, powerful thinking.
My daughter's wedding was this past Saturday. And my only girl. It was just night and day. My transformation, I could see it. And I was just so proud of me. And, in reflection, I can see, all the things that happened where I protected my peace. I said no. I had my own back. I protected her vision, when, I had people flying in from, all over the country. And, I took my time. I regulated my emotions. I took time to breathe in my car. And, everything went beautifully. And I was able to enjoy that time with her. And I'm just so grateful for that.
That's beautiful. We hadn't talked since your daughter's wedding, so I'm glad it went like this.
Yes.
I'm gonna pose another question to the table. Have you learned, I know we still got a couple months to work together, but do you feel like the program, the work we've done together has given you a structure, a method of working with your client? Like, do you know now what to do with your client? Because that's one of the biggest gap people feel like, what do I do in session? Like, what's my method? What's my process? Like, how do you feel about that aspect of knowing how to work with people?
I think that for me, I have the tools, but now I have the confidence and the self-trust. And I'm working on that, right?
Yeah.
But it's given me the tools to help, and it's given me the body trust and the self-trust in myself and the confidence that I'm starting to know I'm a good coach. I'm thinking it, I'm knowing it, and I'm starting to believe it. So it's been transformative in that whole capacity.
Yeah, super different than what I was for with nutrition counseling, and, very different framework, and, really the whole diet culture, wellness culture, like be the expert, kind of a way. And so I didn't know a different way. And the framework definitely has given me like a lot of peace and more confidence, like Angela, like you're saying, it's as I'm practicing it, I'm realizing still, the missing, not the missing piece, but the piece that is the part that it's my mindset work that's going to make the biggest difference. I think now I have a framework, and just really thinking and believing and having self-trust. That's the part that's made the biggest difference, but also just the framework of how to coach. It's transformational for my coaching business for sure.
I think the other thing too for me that's transformational, I certainly agree with what Angela and Farah shared, and I feel that way too. And I think the other piece for me is the fact that I don't have to know everything. You say a lot that you trust yourself and you trust your clients to make the decisions that suit them. And I'm learning that I can do the same. Like, I don't have to control what my clients do, or anyone for that matter. And I've always heard, in different environments that I've been in, my results aren't tied to, X. But I never, I kind of understood it, but now I get it. Like, I get it. And the reason that I don't have to rely on their outcome is because I can't control them. And, your program has taught me that. It has taught me that I can trust myself, and I can allow other people to do what's right for them, because it doesn't necessarily have to be what I would do, because it's them. And so that has been extremely valuable.
Yeah, you knew it, now you get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You knew it intellectually. And if it could be one sentence of this conversation all over for the last 30 minutes. You knew it, now you get it at the DNA level.
Yeah, it's no longer a party line. Like,
yeah,
it's
that's what it meant all along.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, we're going to start wrapping up because I want to make this consumable so everybody can hear all of your beautiful stories. If you were to speak, and I'm going to go around the table, and that's going to be our closing line. If you were to talk to someone, another colleague of yours, a professional of yours in each one of your fields, and they had a question, or they were afraid, or they were worried about joining the non-diet coaching certification, what would you say to them?
I would say that what you put into it is what you're going to get back. If you want to change, if you want to become someone who can coach themselves so that you can transform, your own thinking so that you can essentially change your life, then you're going to do it. Then it's right for you. Then this is where it's going to happen.
I would ask them, what do they have to lose? You either keep the current mindset that you have, or you learn a different one.
I would say that they are looking for the results that they want and they're not there, that this is like the program to work in like a safe, completely supportive environment with oodles of tools that are available, but you're also not going to feel like overwhelmed. It's like very, I think, unique to each person. And you do a great job of meeting us where we're at. Stephanie, the program, does a great job of that. There's no, like, you have to do it just this way and you have to go at just this speed. I think we're all like in different places and we're all kind of doing different things, but it just meets each of us like right where we're at and right with what we need personally and professionally. And then if, it also gives us though like that, the next level, that little push, that motivation. Like I'd probably still be like stewing around, where I was at, like trying to figure out what to do next and why is this not working. And now I just feel like empowered, but also peaceful and not like feeling like I'm not meeting my expectations and so on and so forth. So it's just, a perfect fit, I think, for anybody, honestly.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would say that it's fast-paced, it's intense, it's transformative. Personally, you will come out of this not being the same person. You will be a better, more rounded. Your relationship with food, your relationship with your body, and your business will be better.
Specifically for you, if you were to talk to a dietitian, because sometimes the dietitians say, yeah, but I've got a degree. Like, why? Like, really, do I need this? What would you say? How would you answer that question?
A degree doesn't help you embody the processes, the self-coaching, and the ability to teach that embodiment. It's intellectual, it's not embodiment. Yeah.
You answer very similarly to a therapist that I asked that question a couple of years ago. Like, what's the difference? Like, I've got all these intellectualization. What's the difference? And coincidentally enough, you've answered it very similarly. Okay, folks, it was a pleasure being with all of you, having this digital, virtual coffee roundtable. We will put your name and your social media or your website, if you have one, in the show notes. And people can reach out to you if they want to. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my sisters, if you are loving what you are learning on the podcast, you have to come and check out our feminist mentorship masterclasses and our internationally recognized non-diet coaching certification on our website at www.stephaniedote.com/shop. This is where you can get the individual coaching and the support to take the concept taught on the podcast to the next level. Embrace our well-being in a way that will expand our collective freedom and power. Come and join myself and other women to learn how to reshape your mind, not your body. I'll see you there.